Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us yet again. This is my girl, Rebel. She is here to tell us
Hi.
all about herself, her business, how she got started, where she is, and where she sees it going. She is a wife, a mom, and a teacher to 4 and 5-year-olds. Oh my gosh, like you're a hero in my book. And on top of that, she's a business owner. So I'm going to let her kind of share her story about how that got started, and then we will wrap it up. Rebel, take it away.
Thank you for giving me your time this evening. 12 years ago, I was invited to do a photo shoot for the first time. It was in the West Bottoms. It was a 1940s military theme. So I thought, okay, I've never really done anything like this. Talked to Jason about it, and I had a blast, an absolute blast. From picking out my wardrobe to being behind the camera. And I thought, I can do this. I can be on that side of the camera. And I bought a used camera off Facebook. It's a 93-year-old lady I bought it from. She was done using it. I mean, I used it for a couple of years, saved some money, kind of moved up the chain in the Canon world. Um, just thought, I can do this. I can take photos. I'm completely self-taught, from learning how to use Photoshop to my camera to anything on YouTube that I could find. I would just spend many evenings looking at videos and trying to better that business and figure out if I could make it go. Trying to come up with a name. I wanted to be different. I wanted to stand out. You can Google anything and they're all pretty similar as far as the theme with the titles. I wanted something to be a little different. I don't know, something that fit me as a person. So I'm looking at my camera. I'm like, it's a rebel. It's a rebel. I can be a rebel. So that's kind of where Rebel Jones came in at. November of 2016, I started my LLC. So this is my 5 years. So to say
That's
I made it,
awesome.
I made it 5 years, to me is a huge thing. When I did the LLC at that time, I was shooting for a ranch in Lexington. A lot of exposure. I had my first art gallery show coming up. Yeah, that was a huge,
That's
huge honor.
awesome.
I had a lot of things going in my favor, and I really kind of wanted to protect myself. So I just went with an LLC, and I'm fine with that. But the whole course of that very first photo shoot to now, I've grown. I have figured out who I am as a person. I've branded myself, if that makes any sense, as far as the rebel part of me. My kids go shoot with me. They take pictures with me.
Oh, that's fun.
If I'm ever in a slump, I call it photo therapy days. I have a couple of different favorite spots that I go visit. And I just kind of sit, I collect my thoughts, I shoot some photos, I come home, I process them, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this for a reason. Through the course of the last probably 5 years, I host what I call a rebel event. It usually entails pinup girls and hot rods and motorcycles. Usually it's a donation fee to enter. And then I take the money. If there's a person that we know that's in need or has medical issues, we pay it forward. I've paid off local school account lunch balances before. I try to give it back to the community in any way that I can. And they're a blast. Photographers donate their time. You have models that will spend hours getting ready for it. And for them to see a picture of them, it's just pretty cool. As somebody who has struggles with her own weights, and my own body image, I've really learned to embrace the stretch marks and the curves. And it's what makes me rebel. It's what makes me me. And I encourage I encourage every woman to do a boudoir set. That was my focus this year, was boudoir. And I saw so many beautiful women. I saw the nervousness when they came in, and when they left, they were like, this was amazing, and it's just about finding your comfort. I love to be on both sides of the camera. I like to play, with my models. I like to have my pictures taken, because who doesn't like to feel beautiful and get dressed up?
Absolutely.
And pretend with props. I mean, it's all part of it, from senior photos, family shoots, any type of photography. I just enjoy it. I like the creative side of it. I do Old West reenactment photos.
Oh, how fun.
1800s, 1900s period. So, and they are for artists that are worldwide. So they get painted, and it's really cool to see my photography come to life on their canvases.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I feel like I've been very blessed with the people that I've met. Years ago, I was told by a very good friend of mine, never miss an opportunity to meet somebody. And I still take that advice to heart because it's gotten me different places that I never thought I would imagine. First and foremost, I am a teacher, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, that all comes first. But, my business, I've been very blessed with the people that I've met. And I thank them all the time for allowing me the chance to capture their memories, to hang out with them, to just collaborate with other photographers. It's been a journey. It's been an amazing journey.
Well, that's amazing. How did you get into photography? Was it just a creative outlet for you, or did you have a plan for that?
No, I literally picked up a camera and just thought, what the hell, I'm going to try this. I mean, at that point I had nothing to lose. And then I realized up in the, I played around for about 10, 12 years before I even thought of the LLC. And then it was kind of time to either take the chance on myself or just go back to just shooting photos and being done. But I've always liked taking photos. My good friend Terry Kozad, I lost him 2 years ago. He's the one that kind of got me into photography. His photos were worldwide. Mine were just here locally, but whenever we would speak, that was the first thing we were doing, whipping out phones and going through recent photos. The day that he was placed in hospice, I was shooting at Smithville Lake, and I had covered the same path of rocks numerous times, and I looked down and there was a perfect white feather between my feet. I listened to music. Michael Bublé, Home was playing.
Wow.
So that's kind of, yeah, he was ready to go home.
Wow.
And he was a big impact. So yeah, music ties into a big part of my business as far as, like I said, phototherapy days. I've got my coffee. It's usually a beer stop or a barbecue or, a mac and cheeseburger or a cup of coffee. I mean, anything. I take off when I'm feeling those things pulling at my heart. If I'm feeling run down, I'll just take off.
I love that. I want to ask, because you said, you want every woman to be able to do like a boudoir shot or something like that. And that's something that has held me back. I'm like, oh no. But how do you get women to feel comfortable to do those, to even one say yes? And then as you're kind of there, like, what do you do? At least you're a woman, so that kind of helps, I think. But
right.
How do you break down that barrier a little bit to kind of let loose?
Right. Usually, it's a phone conversation about outfits and what can personalize their shoot to them. I had one lady, very good friend of mine, that was very nervous, but she's an artist. She's a painter. So we kind of worked with that aspect. I told her, I said, order a black paint smock, throw some, paint splatters on it. And, she loved that because it was something that meant something to her.
I love that.
Every woman that has walked through the hotel rooms where I do them, they're like, I can't do this, I'm nervous, I need a drink. And I'm like, okay, let's have a drink. We have a drink, and then it's like, we'll start, I don't want to say fully clothed, but in the outfit that has the most coverage.
Gotcha.
If they're comfortable, we take away a little bit if they want. I mean, I will never force a lady to do anything she doesn't want to do. If she's not comfortable, I'll tell her, then, you stop. It's your body. Excuse me. But I want every woman to understand that they're beautiful. Goodness, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
That their curves and the stretch marks and the dents and the dimples, that's who they are. They earned the stretch marks if they're a mom. Yep. If they're not a mom and they earn the stretch marks, it's life.
Yep. I love that.
I've been overweight my entire life. I'm well over 200 pounds. I do the photo shoots. I have a very good friend of mine, Lexi, who does my photos, and it's something that we have worked on together as far as understanding and accepting and improving our own vision of ourselves.
So let me ask, does helping other women come through that help you then in turn think better about yourself? Or like you're telling it to them, So it's like reflecting back at you and you're like, okay.
Well, and that's kind of what I tell them. If I can do it, you can do it. I mean, I don't know. It's different than looking in a mirror. Um, when they see the photos, that I mean, I will only post like a handful, and the rest go through Messenger, or when they pick them up and they're like, "Oh my God, that's me. I'm beautiful," and I'm like, "Yes, you are." And it's just making them see they can do this. And I've had several book 2 and 3 different sessions with me. So
Helping women see what everybody else sees when they look at them. I think that's so huge and so
absolutely,
important.
absolutely, because and we're our worst own critics. We're harder on ourselves than anybody in this world is.
Yep. And social media kind of only exemplifies that and makes it seem like, well, I don't look like, well, sweetie, that's a filter. So don't worry about that.
Absolutely. Yes. Filters are, I mean, filters, social media, all of it. But learning, embracing you. Yeah. I mean, that's been a big part of this whole finding rebel. But, yeah, I look in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, I can lose a little bit of weight, but it's like, whatever, you know.
I love that. So how do you balance then being a business owner and a teacher and a wife and a mom? Like how on earth does a day go in the life of Rebel?
I don't sit still. I'm pretty much on the go all the time. My mornings start around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I walk into my classroom at 7, walk out at 5. If my daughter has, a sports activity or after school activity, and I make it work, come the weekends, some weekends there's 2 or 3 different photo shoots in a weekend. Some weekends there's none at all.
Gotcha. So are your like photography hours just kind of how you can fit them into your life around the other things?
Right. Usually my Sundays are always open. My day off is Wednesday. So like Wednesday afternoon, early evening. Um, Depending on the shoot, sometimes I'll post that I'm, going to do minis at, I have my favorite spot, which is in Liberty. So I'll post and I'm doing minis from this time to this time, and people just kind of sign up. Or, like I said, I've done 5 shoots in a day before. So
Oh wow, little busy bee.
yes. Yeah. Like I said, I
So
don't sit still very often. I don't like sitting still.
I
I
don't
don't know if
blame
it's
you.
good or bad, but
Now that leads me to want to jump ahead to the question of the woman out there thinking, man, I love photography, but I have all this going on, or I love art, or I love something and I just feel called to do more, but I don't know how I fit it all in. What advice do you have for her to get something started and see where it goes?
you can't be afraid. You have to, if that's a dream, you have to chase it. If it doesn't work, then at least you tried. If you sit back and you watch from the sidelines, you won't get anywhere in life. You have to throw yourself out there. You have to set goals. You have to network. One thing I did learn early on is not to tell too many people what my plans were, because then I would see other people doing them. And I was like, hey, wait a minute, that was my idea. So I've learned to keep my circle as far as talking ideas very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I debut it, it's like, oh shit, that moment. And sorry,
No, you're fine.
but I mean, they have to, any woman that's planning on doing her own business, you have to have the confidence in yourself. You have to know how to network. I mean, that's a huge part. I mean, mine is all social media based, basically through Facebook. Um, my art gallery show was a tremendous success because I knew how to network. I broke their records in opening night sales and just guests. Basically, I had the Blues Brothers performing there.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
damn.
they're good friends of mine. So they were there. It was just a phenomenal night. So
So
and
have you found more success than online networking or in person with people
it's
you
a
know?
mix. I always carry a business card in my bag, or in um, my billfold. I mean, even getting nails, because on my logo was tattooed on my forearm. So I've met many people doing my, when I get my nails done, and the nail tech asks, what the tattoo is. I'm like, oh, I'm a photographer. The person next to me, do you have a business card? Yep, here I do.
Oh, I
You
love
know,
that. Yes.
or I know I don't have one. I'm on social media. You can find my page. Um, I've been out doing photos just random days, and people are using cell phones, and I'm like, hey, no, I can take it for you. I take on with the phone. I'm like, hey, if you ever want anything professionally done, here's my card, and I usually hear from them.
I love that. And like you said, chase every opportunity and never meet a chance, or never not take a chance
Just
to
an
meet
opportunity to
someone.
meet
Yeah.
somebody. Yep.
I love that. And it's so natural that way. You're just putting your name out there and you're just expanding little by little by little. I love that. You never know who knows somebody.
And that is exactly true, and I'm on my third or fourth Facebook page. I've lost count. I get shut down periodically.
Weird.
Yeah. Apparently my name is offensive,
Isn't
right?
isn't there an actress, Rebel Wilson? Isn't that her actual
Yeah.
name?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So I'm sure there are times where you get a little overwhelmed maybe with all you have going on, or you're like, holy cow, like, is there a break coming? Or when you start to feel kind of in a funk or like, wow, I need to reset, recharge, what do you do?
I have my favorite little river spot that I go sit at. It's about 20 minutes from here. It's one of those spots that I can either walk in the woods or I can sit by the river and just kind of figure out what I'm doing, figure out my thoughts. Um, Usually, like I said, a cup of coffee, music's playing, and usually after 3 or 4 songs, I'm like, okay, I got this. I can do this. I can figure it out. Is I waited till my kids were older um, to really get busy with it because we've raised them both to be very independent, and they're very self-sufficient. He is 18 now. She's 14, but even 12 years ago, they could still cook if they needed to. They knew how to do all those things. They were given those skills early on, or they would come with me.
Oh, I love that.
Um, my son has a couple of photos that were in elementary school competitions. My daughter's actually doing journalism and photography this year. So that teacher has asked me to come in February and talk to the class.
Oh, awesome. So like they're seeing the example of, hey, mom's working, but mom's loving what she does.
Right.
Hey, she's instilling in me what hard work looks like and what kind of life this looks like
Well,
if
and
you're
yeah,
willing
and
to go for
that's
it.
a good mix of both Jason and I, as far as the work ethics. And you go to work, you work hard, you work your ass off, and you see the benefits of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they both realize that you don't get anywhere in life doing just the bare minimum. If you want to stand out, you got to kind of step your game up a little bit.
I love that. And I feel like a lot of moms, and through my own business, I've seen a lot of moms completely not shut down that everything is for my kid, everything is for my kid. They take that little bit of time for themselves. They have to
Right.
have something for themselves in order to be the best mom that they can be.
Absolutely.
And then when they realize the example they're setting, oh, they are watching me. And then they're over here, for my instance, doing makeup in the background or whatever, or your kids
Right.
taking photos. You're like, oh my gosh, like
Right.
they are watching, they are absorbing everything we do. And I
Right.
just think that's awesome and so important.
Last year, one of our classroom jobs in our classroom was a photographer. I had just an old camera that was in our classroom, and the kids, they had great. I mean, they just did amazing with it, and I need to kind of figure out a way to incorporate it back. But everything's iPads in our classroom, and so I am tempted to even just hand them an iPad and say, "Here, take pictures," and just see what they get. But they really enjoyed, being able to take pictures of their friends and the teachers. And
Yeah, and you never know what you're gonna spark in someone. You're never gonna like they could take the most incredible picture and you're like, wow, you're 5. Like, let's
right.
work on this. Let's kind of tailor that a little bit.
Right. And there, my families at work end up being, some of my clients as well, as far as family photos. A neat part with me is being a pre-K teacher. I send them off to kindergarten. 9 times out of 10, I'm the one doing their senior photos.
Wow, that's gotta be incredible.
It is, to just stay in touch with them through social media, and see them grow up. And then, when I see them again, when they're getting ready to graduate, it's pretty cool.
Do you have any where you kind of took the younger photos and then all the way through to senior
That,
picture? Because that would be
that would be something
incredible.
to kind of work on.
That would be fun. That would be that'd be crazy to see, I think.
Right.
So where can people find you? I know you said social media, mostly Facebook. So what is your Facebook for people?
It's just Rebel Jones. It's an ad page. It's not like your typical business page like they want you to have, because I don't like those.
You're a rebel? What?
Yes, Rebel Jones. And then I do have an Instagram. I kind of tend to forget I have it until I open up the app, and then it's a quick photo dump of about 25 recent photos. So I'm not really active on Instagram. So
Totally
Facebook
fair.
is my main source.
Do you have a website?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I just don't ever update it or use it.
Totally fair. We'll just leave it at Facebook then. This is where you can find her. Because you post your photos and they are incredible. They're so fun. And one day I will have the guts to actually maybe do one of your shoots. We'll
Yeah,
see.
nothing else. I'm gonna get you in my parachute.
I'm sorry, what?
My big parachute that I have. Yeah.
What is this about? Tell me about this parachute.
It's a 24-foot military parachute. I cut the straps and made it a dress. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to see this now. Oh my gosh. My mind is kind of intrigued, and I love being around other creatives and just hearing it come out.
If I'm allowed to just do my thing, if I'm told just do your thing, I'm fine. If I have somebody standing next to me telling me it's this, this, and this, I'm gonna look at them and go, okay. I mean, I'll still do it, but I'd rather have that free reign of just be rebel and get it done.
So do most people come to you and say, I want some photos, I don't really know what, and let you do your thing? Or do most people be like, I want this, and you're like, could we try? How does that work, I guess, when they book?
It's a mix of both.
Okay.
It's a mix of both. So it depends too on the location and things like that. I'm like I said, majority of my shoots are either in the West Bottoms or at Belvoir Winery in Liberty.
Okay. Do you have like a slow season for the photography part?
Probably December, as far as like with clients, as once the snow hits, I'll still go out and roam. Oh yeah, every Wednesday, because that's my day off.
That's true.
Come snow or whatever, I take off. So
I was gonna say, despite my hatred of snow, it is really freaking pretty. So
oh yeah, it's beautiful to photograph, depending on again what part of the town you're in and where you're at. And I would love to be able to get, my goal is to get pictures of girls, in the snow. I've done an engagement set and they had a snowball fight.
How fun.
It was fun. And I encourage everybody just to have fun, to be them. I hate posing people just because I don't like to be posed. I would rather people just be them.
That's always the most awkward. Here, do this. I'm like, but it doesn't feel right. Let me laugh on my own.
The most uncomfortable pose is the most beautiful photo you will ever get back.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Huh. I was always, when we did our engagement shoot, we were walking and she was like, do this. I'm like, can we just walk? Because I just start laughing. If you tell me what to do, I just start laughing. I'm like, no. Or like, oh, don't touch me. Like,
right.
But, well, we will get off here. We will tell these people goodbye. And then I can't wait to chat with you afterwards. I got to hear more about this parachute.
No, yeah, exactly. Thank you again so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're
Bye,
going to say goodbye, and I will catch you next time.